My name is Fafa Gilbert and welcome to my Creative African Cooking channel, Ndudu by Fafa. Ndudu means food in the Ewe language from Ghana, and I'm Ewe. And yes, it's mainly food by Fafa, not any other food. It's Ndudu by Fafa. What does that mean? That means I carefully select my ingredients, I infuse them, I mix them, I make the best of each ingredient, whether it's slow cooking at the right temperature, intensifying the natural flavors, enhancing the dish. There's a process, the spices, the herbs, the infusions, it's like, I love cooking. And I love eating good food, obviously. And so before any recipe is sent out to you guys, it's tried and tested, of course, by these. Yes, I know, cheeky of me. Anyway, what have I got for you today? There's a bit of history and nostalgia with this particular dish, and I'm going to call it the Ghana Rainbow Jollof Rice. There is another thing that I did with it, but I think I'd let you find out later. I'm sure the title would have given that away, but anyway. So in the 80s, I remember Ghana went through its famine season, and I don't know if some of you can remember that, but if you do, hey. And Mom had this Ghana, a bucket full of these dry cured beef, and that was what we used for our jollof rice. So, in honor of Mom, in the sense that we survived that. I remember that my snack became, the palm kernels when you make the palm nut soup. I used to love the nuts. After it's made just fresh like that, just crack it and have the nuts. And also, Mom would slow cook the nuts and extract the oil from it. So yeah, it's definitely filled with a lot of memories in that sense, whether it's good or bad, but hey, we survived it. So I think the rainbow, which means life is a rainbow, different colors, different times, seasons and all that, yes. So yeah, let me start cooking. Hey. Okay, so I've got my jollof rice stew here, which is already prepared. I did make a big bunch and froze some, and that's what I've defrosted, and I'm slow cooking it now. I'd leave a link at the top to direct you to the best jollof rice stew recipe, which is in one of my previous videos, is a must try. Now I'm reviving the flavor again, so I'm adding just a pinch, which is about half a teaspoonful of my African nutmeg, which is milled. So that gives it that sweeter taste as well. In the absence of that, you can use your normal nutmeg, so don't be shy of that. Secondly, I'll be using some dry rosemary. If you don't have the dry rosemary, you have the fresh one, you can use that. You can also use thyme, oregano, marjoram. You can be as creative, curry powder if you wish. And I'm adding 1 bay leaf, and I'm going to be mixing all this together till it's well combined. What I'm just doing is, just warming the stew up to allow those flavors to infuse and to revive the flavors. Now, this recipe, as I did mention earlier, is one that is filled with nostalgia. Because in the 80s, when Ghana went through the famine season, it was like you go to the market traders would artificially hoard the products and increase the prices. So yes, there was a lot of hunger and things were expensive. So Mom just became a genius. My choice of meat for this recipe is beef. You can use your goat meat, your lamb. You can be as creative on mutton if you wish. So I used the kitchen napkin to extract as much moisture out of the meat as you saw earlier. And I added some salt. Now I'm adding some flavors. I'm adding some dried rosemary to it. Yet again, you can be creative as to the type of herbs and spices you do include here. I'm also adding some powdered garlic and some ginger as well, and then chili. I'm going to mix all this together. I'm going to slow roast this in the oven for about 30 minutes because I want it dried, I want it cubed. And I'll tell you something, it always had a distinctive flavor when you do your meat this way. It has a distinctive flavor to your jollof. Now, particularly when Mom did it, she slow roasted this on the coal pot, which gave it the smokiness. It's almost like a biltong in a way, you know what I mean? And it's just incredible. But yeah, I'm paying homage to her, and I hope she actually likes this. Oh no. So for the next process, you will need a rack and a baking tray. And you also need to preheat your oven to 180 degrees. Okay. Now there's a reason for this. You place your rack on top of your baking tray, as you can see here, and you carefully place your cubed beef or preferred meat on top. Now, the reason why you've done this is to allow the air to circulate perfectly when you're using the oven, because you're dry roasting this, you're intensifying the flavor. If you just leave it in the tray, there will be moisture that will be collected, but I want that moisture to escape and to infuse into that meat and cook that meat perfectly. So after 30 minutes, you end up with something so beautiful. So also ensure that when you place your cubed beef or preferred meat on the rack, you space it to allow the circulation of the air to get, to happen just perfectly. So here, bish bash bosh, you're done. Now, this is also a great snack to have. You can also, add some cumin seeds if you wish, or some coriander seeds. It adds a different flavor and dimension to it. Anyway, now we're moving to the jollof. Okay, so what I've done here is I've washed my rice till the water ran clear. Now, if you've watched any of my rice recipe, I've always talked about this. And then I soak the rice in hot water. Okay, so there's a method to the madness. Now I'm going to reveal this. I'm going to be baking this jollof. I know, right? Yes. So because I've actually poured the hot water on the rice, it's partially cooked. So you notice that I'm going to use less water. So this is how to cook, or this is how to bake your jollof rice or any rice recipe to ensure that it be mako, that it's nice, fluffy, and it's just perfect and authentic and just great. Okay. So you notice as well that I'm using less water here because, yet again, I've added the hot water, so it's pre-cooked somehow. So that's just enough water now. And I'll leave the measurements and the list of ingredients on my blog, fafagilbert.com, so do check it out. Now I'm adding my cubed beef, and now I'm adding my stew. And I'm going to mix everything together till it's well combined, as I always say. Naturally, in the 80s when Mom made this dish, she used a coal pot. She didn't bake it. But of course, I'm adding this modernity to this recipe. Why not? Una. Now, the amount of stew you use comes down to your personal preference. But you have to use as much stew to ensure that your jollof rice it's got that distinctive deep orange color. You can't have a pale jollof thing looking and call it jollof rice. No, don't. No. I've seen some and it's just like, oh, you too, why? Anyway, so I'm adding some chunky cut carrots to this because I'm going to be steaming this together. Or when I say steaming or baking, so the steam is going to cook this together. My choice of carrots for this dish was one that was organic. It was on a deal as well, which is good. I know that with organic dishes or organic ingredients, they are so expensive. But if you shop in a clever way, you will find very good deals, definitely. Add your salt to taste and preheat your oven to 180 degrees because we're going to be baking this for 25 minutes. Now, the reason why I'm saying 25 minutes is I will be taking it out of the oven and then add my green beans and bake it for a further 10 minutes. So at this point, look at this. Look at this beauty. You can see that the carrots are cooking just beautifully and they're going to infuse their sweetness into the dish. And the meat as well is softening. Absolutely, because the steam is just, breaking through the fibers and, making sure that it's perfect. I think baking rice is just like the way to go now, don't you think? You like what you're seeing? Your mouth is watering right now. At this point, add your green beans, as I did mention earlier, and mix it roughly. And I'm going to cover this, place it back in the oven, and cook it for a further 10 minutes. Now, I would have added some normal cabbage to it, but I did have some purple cabbage. That's what I had available. So I was like, yes, this is like the rainbow. Why not? So what I've done is I'm going to microwave the cabbage. Yes. Now, if I added the cabbage like this to the jollof, it would infuse its purplish color into the jollof rice. So I had to do this separately. So I've added 1 tablespoonful of water, salt, and a little bit of butter, and microwaved it for 30 seconds. And that was it. My microwave goes up to 1,000 watts, so that's what I used. And so yeah, I'm going to be adding that later to the dish. So after 10 minutes, voila! Wait, one more. On talk ba like a molo adam the kadakako. A B papa fine. In care come on a umo ninjele come. No ka obeke le no le umole feel fine. She as I no follow no process as I need o soak o rice no ke hot water long soak but ke no feel pe be o follow procedure but on na o jollof as I me kind say as o soak mono now the instructions so soak mono and no sa no na say o de e she ubo ni mu a na o bake ya na ye no fine So what have I been saying? I'm just saying just follow the process in essence, and I'm sure I said a lot more than that. But also, the type of pot that I've used here is the Le Creuset pot, which is like their clay pot, and it's glazed and it's perfect as well. So yeah, this is it, the pièce de résistance. This is like my mom's 80s jollof rice, the whole Ghana rainbow of the seasons. Now tell me, should I do this again? This is not any other food. This is Ndudu by Fafad. I hope you're inspired to try the recipe. Definitely. Look at that. Do you like the colors? Yes. And the flavor is so distinctive. Now, if you're in Ghana, I'll tell you something. Grab that coal pot and make sure that you smoke or dry smoke this meat and use it for your jollof rice. And thank me later. Definitely, because it's a must try. Oh, thank you, Mama. I love you. You're so good. And thanks for my childhood. Me love you so much. I'm all emotional and gushing now because it's quite nostalgic. Now, anyway, if you haven't clicked that subscribe button, I hope you do me that great service to do so. And the notification button, what that means is each time I upload a video, it's delivered straight to your email address, no wahala, and you're notified of it, so you don't miss a thing. Yes. And I would appreciate it if you can share and also spread the word. That'd be great. Okay. Now, if this is your first time of joining this channel, you're welcome, and thank you for taking the time to do so. We love you. I love you. Merci beaucoup. Now, of course, I did add the purple cabbage, but it didn't film, so yes. Just after I took it out of the oven, I added the purple cabbage and mixed everything together. Now, I believe in the list of ingredients and measurements on my blog, fafagilbert.com, so do check it out. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat as Ndudu by Fafa, so do pass by and say hi. Until next time, take care of you, be nice, be beautiful, and try the recipe and leave your comments below. Take care. Have you tried the chocolate fondant yet? Please do.